Welcome back to another video. No, I'm not sitting on the floor. I got the car jacked up. See how high the fenders are? It's probably 6 inches off the ground. So I can get underneath it a lot easier. So yeah, that looks weird. Well, a lot going on. I have to say I'm a little disappointed that the suicide door video didn't do very well. I mean, I was excited about that one, so I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Yeah, it's kind of discouraging. Something big like that. I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. All right. Well, we're winding down on the big ticket items. Like I said previously, I have a list going of little things to do. It just kind of depends when I can get them in versus what I have to do first. I don't know if you can hear it, but I am draining the brand new transmission fluid that I put in. I know the guy told me he drained some out when he took it out of his car. And if you remember, probably whatever video I brought the motor and stuff home in, when I lifted it out, just fluid went everywhere. So I didn't think it had much in there. But I know it usually takes anywhere from 4 to 6 quarts, depending how much comes out. So I threw a good 4 quarts in there, and all of a sudden I hear transmission fluid spewing out everywhere from where the drive shaft would be. Obviously that holds it in some. And if it gets too high, it can come out from there too, but I don't know if the seal's messed up. I haven't looked at it yet. So I got a new seal and O-rings and stuff for that. But then after that finished draining out, a few days later, I had a little puddle underneath the pan. So again, my fault for jumping ahead. I didn't check any of the pan bolts, and all of them were loose. So at some point, he took them off. He had RTV, you could see coming out. I tried tightening it up, but then I was like, whatever. If I got to do it, I got to do it right. So draining the fluid again, so I can drop the pan, clean it off, get a new gasket, seal or whatever on it, get that put back in, and then we can move forward. So that was a nice waste of money. But I got transmission flush kind of out of it. So what are we going to do? I'll show you a few things I did get done that I didn't record. It's boring, but something that had to be done. And then I think we're going to jump on to the door panels, the interior door panels. We're going to make those. I'm pretty sure, I think I'm going to make them out of 2 parts, but I'll show you all that, of how I'm thinking it's going to have to work because of how our door handles and stuff are and the way we mounted them. But it should work well. And then if you remember, at the bottom of the doors, when they close at the back corner, there's like a wedge where you can see light through. It's probably 3/4 inch. So I'm going to cut some angle and fill in that gap, kind of taper it and weld that up. That way, once we get our floor mat in, you won't be able to tell anything anyway. So we'll do that, and then we'll see what else we can get into, and we'll kind of go from there. But it is coming along. I'll give it that. All right, let me show you a few things, and then we'll jump on door panels. I am bummed. I was excited about that suicide door video. Don't know. Whatever. All right, let's go. If you are working on an old Chevy, I'm sure you've heard of the filling station. I reached out and got one of their hood prop kits. Pretty basic kit, but it helps a lot instead of just laying the hood over. I'll show you what we got real quick. So without the hood prop kit, you notice I've been doing this a lot, laying it over. It's not a big deal, but it's got this bar through here, and it's in 2 different arms that you can put on depending on what you have. You just flip it over, and then you can sit your hood up like that. So up here, not too bad, especially for if you go to shows or something like that, you can see everything. But it works really well. But you can put both up at both sides, both times if you're careful, and then it does pretty good. So yeah, it's not too bad looking. Serves the purpose. Pretty simple, but again, for what it wasn't really worth videotaping it. And then underneath our passenger side, we tucked our fuse panel up into the top. Just got it mounted. We don't have any of the wires run yet, but it will clean it all up and quick disconnects everything else. Which is a good little tuck spot up through there. And for the wiring, we just got American Auto Wire, their Route 9 universal kit. Comes with everything and more than what we actually need, so a lot of the wiring we won't be using. But their instructions are pretty awesome. All the wiring is labeled, kind of gives you the details of everything that you need to do. But I mean, it's pretty easy to follow. It's actually pretty cool. But yeah, a lot of this we won't be using. But yeah, pretty cool. We'll get into that at some point. So if you remember, we have that gap between the floor and the bottom of the door. So took a piece of angle and just kind of wedged it. And that's going to fit right in there like that. And then once the door's closed, it fills that in. So we'll get a weld along through that, probably, space it out a little bit, get some paint on it. And then once we do our floor, our mat, it'll cut right along through the edge. You'll never be able to see it. And then down here, you really can't see it anyway, but once it's painted, it'll be just fine. And our other lens and ring came in, so we just got that attached. So now we have both headlights with the upgraded 12-volt halogen bulbs. I've been busy making some templates. Let me show you what we have here. So if you remember before, we drilled into this plate and then we had nuts and washers on the back. That obviously is not going to work because I'm going to try to make a piece of metal that curves over here, and then for our door panel, so we'll be able to reach back here. So I drilled it out, put some rib nuts in. That's going to work fine for that. If you look up here, we have our top piece that we bent over, so it kind of bends down just a little bit, but you can kind of see we're kind of kinked, which is because the door curves anyway. What I found for that is some of this U-bend metal. If you can kind of see that, maybe. Come back here so I can see it from your end. Yeah, so you can see that there. My plan is to slide it or pop it onto here, which it goes right into that groove perfect. So you can kind of see it's nice and clean through here, follows our line down. I'll show you this end of it there. So you can see it sandwiches into there. So that's good. I can't run this all the way down to here and just push it in because of our bevel. So it comes out to like right here. So it looks kind of weird. So I'm going to have to end up measuring, and then I'll cut just a little groove here and squeeze that together and then put a weld on it to make it fit our kind of really relaxed V line. And then for templates, what do I have here? Okay, this is our door panel. I'm going to line this up here so you can see that. Okay, let me push that down right there. That goes under there. Okay, so I'm leaving the wood here in the bottom. That way we still have some homage to the old car. I think it looks kind of cool. So I got my marks here for my bars, support bars underneath, and this one up here. So I'm sure we'll probably drill and put some rib nuts in that, something like that. I'm not quite sure exactly yet. Over here you can see our plate. So we'll notch this out, and then you can just kind of see our line through there and through here. It kind of tapers and gets smaller to go underneath our hinge attachment point here. So my plan is for that there, I'm going to run it through the bead roller and do a step up die. So all this will be lower than that, be a little bit higher. That'll give us some clearance here for our plate that's right there. So if it's above that, that should step us down a little bit, make that look better. So that will bolt on to this section here. And for this back section here, flip that around. For back section here, I made this piece that will get welded to our panel. So once we unbolt it, this will come off and we'll be able to get access to our hinges. This comes off, we can get access down there. So that gives us access, but we don't have that ugliness through here. So I have this piece that is going to make like this, and this will fold down, and then I can cut this piece off here to weld to there. So it'll take kind of taper in to that there. So that'll look cool there. So that'd be one piece. Now, so say I have a hole here and here. Let me take this off because I can't use it for this. I have this piece that I don't remember which way it goes. Oh, here's tape. Okay, so we're gonna have our piece of U-bend onto here. This is gonna get bit like this. Well, maybe. And it's going to come down to this bar here, so we're going to put a slight bend in it. Man, come on, bend. Okay, and then it'll be the same holes, so we can notch out, we can put our holes here for this, slide that on, and then be able to still bolt that up, but the other panel will go underneath this. So once you get the other panel on, we can put this one on loose, and then slide this over it and attach it. So that should give us a nice curve down and look kind of cool. So it's going to take a little finagling to get it right, but I think I can figure it out. I guess when I made this, I didn't have my U-bend. So I'm going to put the U-bend on here, just kind of see the template. Maybe I think I might just be able to put it underneath. I think I'm going to weld it underneath it anyway, and then bend it. And then if it's long, I can trim it. So yeah. Let me transfer all this to some metal, get this U-bend figured out. Yeah. Okay, yeah, let me do that. Oh, it's raining. That's great. Lovely. Tag on it. All right, I marked my center line where this was at. I cut it. Kind of see here. Nice little cut. I left a little bit on the end so we can work it. Pulled it in and then cut my edges. Now let's see if we can slide this on. Pretty flush down there. Let's work it down through here. There we go. Oh, what you got here? Oh, might need to trim that just a little bit. That looks good up through here though. Ain't bad. Look back here. Oh. I got where this overlapped, this panel was curved underneath, so I had to cut it to relief it so this would go to the end, but it looks like I need like a 30-second more. So let me pop this back off and, oh, don't break. Yeah. So what I would cut, you can see where this lip was at. It came out from here and it was bent under. So if I didn't do that, I would be off of the end, and I want my new piece to be flat. So you can see I just kind of back cut it through there. All right, need to come this way. Little. Not gonna happen. close are we down here? A little bit more. Perfect. All right, so now you can kind of see our line here. You can see we're sandwiched there, sandwiched down there, we're sandwiched everywhere. We'll come through here, put a weld on this to hold it, and then once we get our whole curved panel here that this will come off, we can put a few tacks underneath it, but it should be pretty strong. This isn't getting permanently attached to this, that's why I kind of went with this. That way it can come off. But we'll have, 3, 4 screws, something along through here, along this bar, that'll hold that on and get sandwiched. And there's no way that's going to pop off of there. So, but that's a nice clean look. I think that's going to work out really well. Yeah, we'll have a little ridge there, but it kind of matches the other little ridge lines of the body. I really need a brake, at least not a little shorty. I need a bigger one. Clamped it in here, hammered this down. You can kind of see it's real ugly right now. You can see it better from this way, but I'm going to try to run it through the English wheel with the flat die right along through here, see if I can smooth this out some, because you can kind of see that. Ugly. Worst case, I got to remake it, but I'm going to try to save it. Say is, if I had a brake, at least a 48-incher, this wouldn't have taken so long. This has taken way longer than it needed to be. You see I ran it through the English wheel. Again, I wasn't too close. Put it on the bead roller. That helped a lot, but you can kind of see here, you can see the lines. You kind of see these little grooves from the edge of that. I didn't have any straight of the nylon ones, so I used the metal, so it kind of grooved it. So then I flipped it upside down and hammered on the back side to try to get it out. Then used 80 grit on the angle grinder sanding disc to go across it. I've done this half up here, and then I went over it with my orbital sander. So you can tell a big difference in what it is of where I've done and haven't done. Yeah, see all those grooves in that thing? That's way better on this side. So way more work than I thought it would be, instead of just sticking this in a bender and going, done, 90, trim the edges, stick it on, figure out what I got to do, and be called. But this is just taking way too long. So I need at least a 48-incher, 5 foot or something. Dang, that stinks. So I'm going to go ahead and finish cleaning this side off, and then I'll be able to slide this into where it needs to go. And I'm going to trim off a little bit of this top section, and then probably put tack on each end, take it off, and then weld it from the underside, so I have a nice clean edge up here with that U-bend on the top. So go ahead and finish this off. I wasted so much time on this. Should just leave it the way it is. No. This would be worth it. All right, let me clean this. Well, it's been about 2 months for me, but not for you. It's just been a couple seconds. It's been cold, it's been snowy, and very cold out here. So I just kind of, for a little bit, starting to warm up a little better now. We're still hovering a little below 30, but it's better than the negative. So time to get back on these door panels. But first I need to clean up. So the last little bit, there's just stuff everywhere where I've had to do little bitty projects, clean up outside, whatever else, lay stuff over there. But we still got to get these bad boys figured out. I don't know if I like this hard edge here or not. I think it's too defined. I think I want it to be more. So I might redo this piece here since I still have to do one over there. But yeah, I don't think I like this hard edge. But yeah, all right. I gotta clean this up first. But during this little hiatus, the belly tank, it got registered into the Bluegrass World of Wheel show at the big exposition center in Louisville, Kentucky. So I've been working on that a little bit, just kind of clean things up, get that ready for the show. That was at the end of January. But then we had a little snow event, and they canceled the whole thing and pushed it off until April. I think it's the 18th and 19th of April. So I'll be there if you're in town or close or whatever. Come out and say hi. Belly tank will be there set up. It'll be kind of cool. So I'm excited about that. All right, let me clean up. I'm not going to tape that, and I'll jump back in here in a little bit, and we can start on the doors. But I need to get this done because it's stressing me out. So I'll see you in a second. I'll take a gander at that from some organizing. Got the snowblower packed away down below, using the cherry picker as a shelf. I mean, come on. You gotta tell me that's impressive packing right there. All right, anyway. All right, let's get back on these door panels. I got the handle off, got this taken apart. You see that sharp edge? I'm not a big fan of that. But I mean, I'd say we got our patterns made, so we're like 13.6% complete with this door. And speaking of 13.6, that's the number of you that are actually subscribed to this channel. So there's 86% of you watching right now that aren't. You could just do a little click, and I'll be very grateful. Doesn't cost you anything, and I'm not asking you to buy anything. Just do a little click, subscribe. I appreciate it. All right, let me show you what I figured out here. All right, so here's a closer up. You can kind of see how sharp that is. It's almost just like a regular bend and a break, which I had to manually do it because I don't have a big enough break. But I want this to have a little bit more of a radius. So I took another piece of 20 gauge and measured out how deep I was. And if you see this line right here, that's where I did my 90 and bent it over. And then I figured out a way to clamp it so it'd be a little bit more gradual. So between the two, I mean, I just think that's a lot cleaner and not very sharp. So if you see this piece of square tube, once I put this piece on, you can see how that's lined up. So it gives me a nice little edge now. So I'm going to take my other piece, this piece, and we're going to put it on there so you can kind of see the difference in the sharp edge. I'm going to hammer that down. Once I did it, I made measurements on the other piece to see if this is still going to fit or if it's going to shrink it up. It kind of pushes this end here this way a little bit to make that part a little bit longer, which is fine because then we can just kind of tweak it and it should be just fine. So yeah, I'm going to clamp this here, hammer, slide it down, clamp, and go all the way down and hope that's right. And if it's not, then I just have to start over. But I have a template now, so that's a plus. I think I can only do a little short section of this at a time. I don't think I have some longer clamps, but I don't think they're long enough to get through this. So kind of show you what I'm working out here. So that's tight against there. That's tight against there. Let me show you that. So you can see we're tight up to the top, and then we're tight along the bottom through here. But now you can see our gap. So I'll see if I can set the camera up so you can see me hammer this a little bit out through here. Back on, it's way better. Kind of see we have more of a rounded edge through there all the way down Looks good. I got it back on, got it clamped just so I can kind of see where it's at. I do have to trim this little piece here, so I'm going to take it back off, trim that, put it back on, and then I'll be able to stick a tack weld on this piece to this piece underneath. I need to tack this here. I'm trying not to do any tacks on the outside, and I think I'm going to do one up here underneath there. And then I should be able to take this piece off, weld underneath it, and then put it back on just to fit it. Should be good. And then I already have the panel cut. I need to run it through the bead roller, figure out my holes, and then this side will be done. So hopefully not too much more. Let me knock this out. Cut. Yep, that down there, and then we'll put it back on and get the welder out. I guess we need to try that again. I see I did one little tack there. My helmet didn't auto darken, so I got blinded for a minute, so I had to go get some new batteries. Okay, good. Let's see if I can get this one. It's a little tricky over here. Oh man, I just knocked my freaking, damn it. Quit clicking. You didn't weld that to that, did you? Nope. Let's see. That looks pretty good there. I'll clean that up. Let's see if I can. Oh my gosh, I can't weld with this thing. Okay, hoping this will hold for me to take it off. All right, I think that might get it. All right, I'm going to take this off and see if I can then weld it up, or if I'm going to have to weld it on here. Fingers crossed. I don't need you. Yeah, it's not a good idea to put a welding helmet on a thick beanie hat because it's too soft. All right, let's fingers crossed here. Get these gloves on because I think it's going to be hot. Be careful where I pull. Maybe I need something to pry on that. Ooh. Ha ha ha. Come on. Release. Sweet. Okay. So we got that there. Now I can go on the back, clamp it here in different spots, put some tack welds. I don't need to weld it up fully. And then we'll get it cleaned up. Sweet. All right, let me get everything else set up here. Finally got some stitch welds onto this. I'll show you that in a minute. I still got a little clean up before I paint it. But I wanted to fit this up here and make sure that, I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm close to that, but I guess I'm going to slide this on here because I got to drill some holes. There's that. Where are we at here? Wow. Down. I figure this might be the tricky part, but oh, come on. There's that. There's that. There's that. So we're on there. We're on there. There's that little, yeah, right there. I can't see where I'm coming off of it at. There we go. Good there. Okay, so we're tight into there. I just want to see how, that looks good there. So we're pretty even to that. Okay, I put some little holes here. This is where I want to drill through. I wanted to check to see if I could play with it first before I drill those out. I want to make sure that these lines right here are still lined up. So I'm going to take this off, drill 3 holes here, put it back on, drill those 3 holes, and then when I take my body panel, when I slide it up, I should be able just to line this up just right to mark those holes to drill those off. But I wanted to make sure it fit first. I guess I need to make sure it closes. Over here, oh yeah, we got plenty of room. All right, let me show you what we got real quick before I drill the holes. And you see it looks nice and clean. Got our little dip in through there and out through here with our turn. I think that rounded edge looks way better. This will get pulled in right here, but it'll be all right. So you can see I got little dimples right here, and then underneath our tube here, underneath our tube that's like this, that's up here, I centered it and made a Sharpie line. So when I drill this, I'm going to make sure that that's in the center, I hope, and then I know where to make my marks. So. So this hardware, I'm just using 1/4 20. I've used this before, but it's very handy. Instead of having to try to weld nuts onto the back or hard to reach places, you can't beat it. So this one up here, I'm going to do the same down here on this bottom bar. Once I get some holes drilled into the panel, once I get that through the bead roller. But I think up here at top, the piece is coming over, it'll bolt to this. The piece on the bottom, I think I'm going to do some little U-shaped cuts out of it so it slides up into that. Instead of having to try to line up holes, everything else, I think it's going to be easier just to do a few little U's, put it up, and then it'll bolt to the bottom, then it'll sandwich up here. I think that'll be fine. So yeah, we're looking pretty good there. Very cool little rivet nuts. So I think now that's lined up, that's lined up. I think I'm going to, before I do that, I got my panel here, but before I notch those out, I'm going to want to, so that goes straight to the top, okay. So I think that's going to be fine. This down to here, barely comes across that wood. Get up there. Come on, man, what are you doing? Making me look bad here. That's that. That'll go straight to the top of that one. Okay. So it's flush across the bottom. That's good. So I guess I need to make my marks onto this, get this on the bead roller, so I can see if I can push it out anymore, or if I need to kind of dimple that in a little bit. All right, let me make some marks, figure out what I'm supposed to be doing, because I don't know. But yeah, okay, good. So here you can see our latch. I previously had it set up like this with a washer between here. When I put our body panel on, moved it up and down, just sitting flush to this, it was hitting on this. It's pretty much right in line. So I took that out and tried it without the washer there, and it was still just barely rubbing. So what I did, I reamed this out kind of at a little bevel, and then I just got one of these machine screws, and if I left it like that, you can see how far out it was, but since I beveled it, it goes in. So now I'm sitting off of that probably a good 1/8 of an inch off of where this panel is going to be. I was going to try to show you with the camera, but you really can't see in there anywhere, but I'll see if I can try to show you. But so yeah, this is going to work. So I'm going to put this part back together, put the panel back on to dry fit it, and then I'll show you what I got. All right, I got the panel back on. You can see the gap, but you can see right there, there's the lever for the door handle, but it moves freely now. And if I push this forward tight, it's still going to be okay. So that's gonna work. It's kind of what I have right now. So I put some of the bead roller dies on it to try to push that out some. I got one at the top, and then we got a triple there, and then pretty much a double down here, and then along the bottom. Our center support bar is right through there, so I'll probably put a bolt hole or to secure it there, and probably down there. I think I only need 2. Maybe I'll do 3 that line up with the 3 top ones. I don't know yet, but I still got to try to fit this a little bit better. It looks good through there, but then we're kind of hitting down through there. So I might just do like a little filler panel through that, because I need this to be able to stand off from our latch on the inside. So it's a little weird planning on my part, or a lack of planning, but again, not perfect. But I think that looks pretty good. Why is that off? Couldn't have messed up that bad. Where? Don't know. I guess I need to investigate, but it looks cool so far. Well, I made a silly mistake. I notched my door panel because I had another mark, but it wasn't the right one, so I had that one drilled out. So I just filled this hole. I drilled a new hole, filled that one in with the welder real quick, cleaned it up. So it should work. So this is my plan. It was really hard to get this on with this panel on how I was planning to do it and then sandwich this. But then since I figured to do these notches, I can still reach up underneath here and get to the door latch. So that makes that a lot easier. I left these out probably 1/4 inch. So this board should slide up inside of it in theory. There's that. Where's the hole? What's the odds of me getting this hole? I'd say slim and none. Actually, let's try this one because I can see better. Oh, we're sliding. That might be the issue with this way. I think over there. Where you at? I see you. Oh, I got one. Okay, there, that one. Now let's see if I can see down here. Oh, hey, it looks like it's lined up. What do you know? It's always a good thing, isn't it? Maybe looking a little crooked. Go this way. Got it. All right, so since those are in, I should be able just to tighten this up. Whoop. I meant for it to do that. So this should, both of these should hit perfect there. Okay, so that's there, that's there. Guess we should tighten this up now. That should pull that in. Just pull that in. That's in. Oop. I guess this is the biggest one right here, is if the door will still open and close. Okay, let's lock it. Haha! Sweet mother. Look at that. All right, I like it. What do you think? I think it looks pretty good. I don't know what that pattern is, but I just kind of wanted to, I knew I needed to stretch this part out because this stuck out so far here, this part. So that's why I kind of did the step downs and I just kind of let it swoosh back. So it's not bad. I probably should have thought about it more and made something cooler, but I like it. Cool. So now we got edges. We have a nice top seam through there. And once all this is painted, I think it's going to look really good. Now I got a little template for this. At least when I was making the templates, that's what I was thinking of. So I have this here. I got this little wedge here that'll slide behind that to give that some support. That should go like that. And this will wedge down somehow, maybe. And it'll get welded to this. Do I want that or just, no, I don't like that. That's ugly. It seems like a lot of stuff for that. So if that'd just be welded to that. How would I weld that to that? I don't, that's not the issue here. So, okay, so would that be straight? And is that flat? And that would go down. I don't know if I like that. All right, I'm going to play around here with something and see if I need to do that. Maybe I'll figure out something that I can weld to the back of this and just let that kind of hang over that. Maybe, I don't know. All right, let me play around for a second. So right in this little spot, when you close the door, there's a gap, like a triangle, runs out that way. So I got a piece of angle and just kind of cut it and trimmed it to fit. And we're just going to put it in here just like that. Should be good. So let's see what we're going for here. And then you can kind of see where it was at before. And now we have nice little filler strip so we don't drop anything down it. It's not the greatest seeing that, but there's a lot of stuff that's exposed on this. And maybe I'm trying to talk myself into it. I think I might just leave it. I mean, it's rough. it's better than no door panels. But this is going to get painted flat, or the satin black, just like, I think it's flat or satin, I don't remember. But this whole door panel will get painted like that, along with these innards. Yeah, I don't mind it, I don't think. I thought about putting a piece behind it coming out that's welded to this from the backside and lipping over, but then I'd want to secure it to the bottom somehow. I could make a little like wedge and put on there, but I don't know. I think it'd be all right. Like, I mean, I can add it later. I think I'm going to think on it a little bit and see what I think, but I do like it. I did round out the edge here and cleaned up the edge here for what that was. It closes good and solid, and I think it looks good. So yeah, now I just need to do that over here. Okay. Looks pretty good from this angle too. Oh, I want to see what it looks like with the door closed from over here. So hold on. How's it look? Oh yeah, that looks good. Yeah, it ain't bad at all. Yeah. Hey, look. Didn't even mean to do that. Look at the line from the top of this paint line here across to there. You know what? I wonder if we paint this bottom section here, the satin black, and leave this line, pretty much that top section there, this just this silver clear color. Yeah, and maybe I'll just paint the top. Maybe we'll just paint this piece and leave this section through here, just kind of clear coat it. I like that idea. Yeah. Ooh. Well, it had to be a little bit of change of plans. Supposed to warm up today and tomorrow, at least so I could get some painting done. But right now it's windy out and it's overcast and supposed to rain here in a little bit. So that puts out painting for today. Tomorrow is supposed to be almost 70, which is amazing, but it's supposed to rain all day and be windy. And then after the thunderstorms come in, it drops back off down to the low 50s and 40s. So I don't want to rush it. So I think we're just going to try to do the other door panels, get it done, and then 2-3 weeks when the weather's a little better. So I'm not rushing, especially since I have to paint front and back and the inside of the doors. There's no reason for me to rush for it and mess it up. So 2-3 weeks, I'll get the doors painted. Not a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and knock out the other door, get the panels, get everything done, and get us to where we need to be. And then that's it for this video. So I'll go ahead and just call it here. There's no reason for me to watch the other one. So yeah, I appreciate you all watching. And if you got any questions, send me a comment, send me a like, whatever you want to do. I try to respond to every message. So I greatly appreciate it. And with that, hope you have a good one, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a good one. See ya.